Alright, cool. Alright, this is called Keep Loving You. Do you remember this one, Carlo? I think I played it one time for you. He goes, I've been inclined to waste my time on a love that can't be mine. And now all I seem to do is dream of yesterdays, lazy days, all the haze, since we went our separate ways. But didn't we make a vow to see it through? And that's why I'm gonna keep loving you. That's why I'm gonna keep loving you. That's why I'm gonna keep loving you. That's why I'm gonna keep on loving. I'm advised by the wise to lose your love and keep my pride, but only fools see fools and not the love they hide. And I could blame, damn your name, but that's such an easy game. You see, holding back's the hardest thing to do. And that's why I'm gonna keep loving you. That's why I'm gonna keep loving you. That's why I'm gonna keep loving you. That's why I'm gonna keep on loving you.
Thank you, fantastic. Dave, just jump into your music for a sec. And by the way, for the listeners, they are listening to a lot of dance music going on. These girls can be loud, they're only 15, but hey, they are starting. It's a very critical age, that one, 15, talking about what you guys were saying about, you know, with Narconon and everything. 15, you easily can get impressed, especially if you're a girl, but even if you're a guy. I remember I used to smoke cigarettes, and I stopped about 3 years ago. And why did I start? I started because I wanted to look older.
Yeah.
Isn't that?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I was in Italy, but if I was English or whatever the nationality, it's like that. You want to look a little bit older, and you know, sometimes because it's cool. I remember a while back somebody told me, "Oh, I'd like to try cocaine," and I was like, "Girl, why would you?" "Oh, well, I was in a party I saw the other day. Everybody was doing it." And I was like, "So what?" And it was very difficult for me to put across a reason strong enough to say, because now it's like the next, you know, I'm having a drink. It's not a big deal. Unfortunately, back in the days, it was a big deal.
Yeah.
But now, and people were doing it anyway. But now it's not a big deal. You know, oh, I want to try. Like if you say, oh, I'm going for a walk, and unfortunately, it's so easy. So what you guys do is even more important right now. And perhaps, you know, we know out there, these girls that are having a party there, they're very nice people. They had a piano player earlier on, and now they're having a little bit of, you know, a dance, and it's fine. But unfortunately, well, living in a place like London especially, so a lot of people that want to look cool, and then they end up sometimes, unfortunately, ruining their lives.
Yeah. Again, it's like, without labouring the point, but it needs laboured, it's like, it's education, isn't it? Because the whole parental thing is kind of slipping away. The parents... You know, it's a lot. It is education that's going to do it, because nobody gets into drugs. You know, they can't wait to get into drugs and fall over and get stoned and get out of their heads. They don't. They don't. It's because of peer group pressure and escapism, etc., etc.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? And but if they get stuck on it, they don't want to get into that situation. It's education that is actually needed. That is the thing. You know, and that's kind of what's missing. You know.
Absolutely, yeah. It fills the gap, and it's a necessity.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. When I was growing up, it's funny. Like with some of the graduates, some of the Narconon graduates and stuff, they were saying, like Michelle was saying, when I was growing up, I didn't know if somebody had sat me down and told me everything
for real, not like these are really bad. Because you know the same old story, if you say how bad it is, you know, everybody's going to go and do it. But if you get the actual data, you know, for real, then that's it. You know, as you say before, you make up your own mind, don't you?
If you get the data, if you get the data.
The data.
And tell us. Well, I know that you've done it before. The very first time, the second time, you had a meeting with some people from I don't know what college. How did you introduce yourself? Tell to the listeners.
Oh no, I can't remember the story, guy. What?
Well, you went there ready to talk about this.
Oh, that's when I went around and played at the school. Oh no, yeah, that just made me laugh because I was playing at Assembly because I was going to bring the whole band down for a big show. So I played the acoustic at Assembly, right? And the headmaster said, and this is just a chap who's going to give you a drug education lecture and play some music, right? And I was like, oh God. And they all look at me like, oh my God, who's this bloke? Right? There's a load of black girls in the audience, right? And black guys and white guys, etc., etc. But they all had that face on, like, oh God. So I stood up and I said, okay, here we go. And I said, all right, listen up, right? I'm going to sing some songs what are really good, right? Choice songs, right? Sort of quality, and then talk to you about drugs, right? So don't interrupt me because I get embarrassed and they're like good and I like don't want to leave and stuff. They just like, you know, they just fell on the floor laughing. And then I played and I talked to them and it was a laugh.
Because that way you became their friends that way. You talked the way they...
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, like when we did that classroom, that guy came up and he goes, but you're just like us, but older. And I went, he says, all right, you're just like us, not as old. But you know what I mean? You're on the reality level. You can't talk to kids like, okay, children, sit down. We're going to tell you about the awful dangers of drugs. They're going to say, oh, Christ, I'm not with you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, do you know what I mean? So you tell them like normal, along with giving them the facts about it. And they're like, you know, and you have a laugh. For God's sake, there's not enough fun in the world, is there?
Yeah, and there was a teacher who said to me once that she could have delivered exactly the same lecture, but she'd have been totally rejected because she was an authoritarian figure, whereas our lecturers are seen as, you know, all our lecturers did though with their youth, you know. So they don't have that. It's not like they're talking out of a textbook.
Yeah, it's got to be real to you, isn't it? You don't necessarily have to have an experience, but it's kind of works. It's real.
Question time it does.
No, question time it does. Yeah.
What was the first impression that you had when you found yourself, well, not lecturing as such, but in that position? Because in a way, it's also a bit of a power position. Because if you say something wrong,
they take
responsibility.
Oh my God! Yeah, that's absolutely right. That is so true. Let me tell you an example of how powerful this actually is. I once was teaching. I teach guitar. I teach guitar and vocals and blah blah blah. So one time, ages ago, there was this young kid, and he said, "Dave, there was a concert coming up for all the kids." And we all finished all the rehearsals and stuff. And I sat down, and the kid said, "Dave," he says, "I'm very nervous." He said, "What do you do in your first gig? What was it like? Were you really nervous?" I says, "Oh my God, my first gig, I was about 16. God, I think I got absolutely drunk. I'm not sure. I can't remember. God, yeah. Anyway, and I just mumbled some stuff about having had some beers. Anyway, the guy on the day of the concert went off and drank a load of beer. Just got himself absolutely drunk, right? And turned up, and it was a disaster. You know, he couldn't play. And I went, oh my God, you've got to so watch what you say. I didn't mean for him to go off and get drunk, but he so believed every word I said because I was his teacher. He saw me in a band. He saw how I played. He thought, whatever Dave does, I'm going to do it. So I'm just like, by error, just saying, oh yeah, I don't think we were drunk. Right, Dave was drunk, I'll be drunk. So, you know, I should have added to it. And by the way, that wasn't the thing to do. The thing to do would have been to practice a bit more hard. You know, get a good night's sleep, get some breakfast, don't argue with your girlfriend, you'll be all right. Which is the actual truth of the matter, to be honest.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Do you agree, Noel? Do you agree with that?
I think, yeah, a bit of professionalism rather than a few beers is called for.